But I will just name before I read this little thing that I came across, is that this is the way somebody's going to come into you. Somebody's coming into you symptomatically. So when I tell you, or one of us is sharing with you, what are the symptoms that is coming from this? You know, I'm teaching here's the deal. I'm teaching from the core issue to the symptom, but you're treating from the symptom, informationally wise, from the symptom to the core. Do you get it? So I'm teaching this way. This is what's happening. These are all the symptoms. You are going to get, coming into your room, or your family, or your loved ones, here's my symptoms. Now you have to take all this and go over here and go, huh, got it? What's the core? So that's the first time I've ever said it that way, but that's the truth of this. So when we tell you symptoms, I tell you symptoms, you got to write those down so that you understand that those are coming out of this, okay? That those are coming out of this. Okay, so we're in your kidney class, which is pivotal. Kidney is pivotal in so many things. So I came across this when I was reading the other day, and this was the Asaro tribe of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea has a saying. And the saying is, knowledge is only a rumor until it lives in the muscle.
Mm. Mm.
So I'm going to say that again. Knowledge is only a rumor until it lives in the muscle. So I guess that's another way of saying, practice, because if you don't, it's not there. It's not there. We all don't grow and evolve unless we have it coming from multiple dimensions. One is to gather the knowledge, and then is to practice the knowledge. You know, there's all these parts. You know, it's a real marriage in order to get. If this is your desire, you know what I mean? If this is your desire, this takes work. Nothing really comes easy, even though we would like it that way. I love this next one that I came across somewhere else, but I'm going to say it anyway because I wrote it down. Okay, in quotes. Okay. Grace will take you places that hustling can't.
Amen.
Amen. You know? Grace will take you places that hustling can't. I thought that was a great quote. Anyway, all right. So you guys, we got to talk about the kidneys. Kidneys now, reproduction later. Okay, kidney and bladder now, reproduction later. Okay. So.
Did anybody else sing the Grease 2 song in your head just then? No?
What song is that, Julia?
Reproduction. From Grease 2? No? Okay.
Grease 2,
Yeah, Grease 2. Sorry, y'all. My head is
Do we need to reconnect this?
pretty much.
Did it, because I took it out of here,
Maybe.
Is it,
But
that's okay.
This.
I'll read this while you do that.
Okay.
So we are on the kidneys, you guys, and in Chinese medicine, the kidneys play the role of power and the root of life. Power and the root of life. It's really interesting, isn't it? That it comes from this place, you know. It's vitality, deep willpower. It is your constitutional energy. Wow. I know. Wow. They act as your body, thank you, Jillian. They act as your body's primary battery. They're big in your bone development. And we're going to talk about all sorts of other things that it's in relationship to this. And also aging. So, interestingly enough, the kidneys hold something called you're going to help me pronounce it, the gene, which is prenatal or inherited and postnatal acquired essence. So it has your prenatal and postnatal essence. I think that's awesome. Your prenatal is your inherited, and your postnatal is what you're acquiring, essence. This is a blueprint for growth, sexual development, and reproduction. The Jing energy is how gracefully you age. I'm getting at it, man. I'm trying. So strong kidney energy produces healthy bones, teeth, and nourishes the brain and spinal cord. Pretty wild, huh? Pretty amazing. Okay. So the kidneys live in the at the mid-level of the body. In this picture, it's not showing it that the respiratory diaphragm is coming here, and your kidneys are what's called retroperitoneal. That means in the back of the peritoneal cavity. In the back of the peritoneal cavity. Okay? The left kidney is higher by one segment than the right kidney because of the liver. Over here we say that because of the liver. So there is one of those depressions on the back of the liver for the kidney, which we will see. There's a picture of it that shows that this sits into the back of the kidney, the liver on the right. Each kidney, like the liver, has a hilum here. Has a hilum, and you can see the renal artery and vein are connecting here. You get this. So this is the hilum, and the hilum are on the medial side, facing each other. Facing each other. Okay? So the left kidney is sitting at the level, oh, I'm going to mess this up a little bit, but I'm sure we have it in the list, is that this is like, okay, T12, L1, L2, and this is like L1, L2, L3 here on the right. And they're living in very close quarters, basically on the psoas. On the psoas. So I had a client I haven't seen in 8 years. She came in the other day. She said, I love it. She said, you fixed me, so I didn't need to come back. I'm like, I think I'm too tired to go, I don't fix people. I just went, great. I think I don't have that. I don't have it. I don't need her to understand that. I need you to understand that. I don't need her to understand that. I was just like, I'm happy that you didn't have to come back. I wasn't sitting here pining for you. It's good. It's good. But she came in and she told me that she's having right SI pain. Okay? She's having right SI pain, and she went to the chiropractor, and he said her QL, her quadratus lumborum muscle, which the quadratus lumborum muscle this is it right here. It attaches to the crust of the ilium and attaches on the bottom of the 12th rib. And so what happened is that he told her, she's having a QL syndrome, which is just like, okay, all right. And so and then she also tells me, what did she tell me? There was like 3 or 4 things that she told me that all said kidney. Every one of the symptoms was like kidney. So what happens when I have this congestion in the kidney, that whole first principle, that visceral, somatic, visceral, all playing out, that plays out all the time, you guys. The principles that I laid out to you on that very first day is something you should re-watch, because those are playing out all the time. And this is that one. This is visceral turning off somatic. And it's doing the same thing to the quadratus lumborum. So anybody comes in with somebody saying that, or they're really thick in the quadratus lumborum, or they have SI pain, I have to say that I'm much more on board of that the SI pain, my head goes that if somebody comes in with SI pain, I am thinking kidney first before I think liver. Liver will do it. I'm not suggesting that it won't, but I am saying that my head goes to kidney first, liver second. And then, what do? What I always tell you, I go about proving my supposition correct or incorrect. Then I start proving myself right or wrong. And in that, I'm gathering more information as I'm proving myself right or wrong, okay? Okay. So, turns off the SOAS. I'm only stopping for a moment to think about the order with which I want to tell you everything. Do you know what I mean? I think I should wait for that. Okay. All right. All right. So the kidneys are tucked in and up inside the posterior part of the respiratory diaphragm. So one of the big things, another symptom is if somebody can't take a deep breath, the first thing I'm thinking is kidney. If somebody can't take a deep breath, like they can't get that breath in there, then I'm definitely on the kidney page, okay? I am on the kidney page. Here's a close-up picture showing you the renal artery and vein over here. This is the aorta coming through the respiratory diaphragm here, okay? Don't you love this? This is a great picture of that fascia. I love that fascia. Okay, anyway. Where does this, do you remember where this attaches? Where this one attaches, this muscle attaches? The treads? Mm-hmm. Where is it attaching?
The root of the mesentery? No? Okay.
I like that you tried
That you're
though.
tried, yeah.
I like that you tried. But it has relationship to it, that's why you're saying that. She's on the track.
Right.
D is on the track. So this is coming and attaching at the transverse process of L2. Who else is attaching at the transverse process? The mesentery. So I like that you're thinking that way. Okay.
What attaches to the transverse process with L2?
Left transverse process, the muscle of Trett's, and the very end of the mesentery, the root of the mesentery. Okay? Okay. So out of the aorta here, this is the level of T12-ish here. Okay? And then you have this coming out, and these are right here, celiac trunk that branches off just as the aorta comes through. This is the celiac branch. This is going to be your mesenteric artery here. And then you have your renal arteries coming off of the aorta. Okay? Okay? So you have these renal arteries coming off and feeding, going into, we have a picture of them later on, going into the kidneys. All right? It's going to be important for you to remember this, that it's coming off of these renal arteries are coming off of the aorta. Obviously, these renal veins are going to go directly back into the vena cava right here. They're going back into the vena cava. Okay? Here we have the adrenals show up now. They're little hats on top of the kidneys. The adrenals are here on each of the kidneys. They are sitting here. You take a kidney out, that adrenal's still staying there. The adrenal's not coming with, okay? Although it's going to be stressed, okay? It's definitely not coming with. All right? Ooh, look at all that. So now we have, here's our renal arteries right here. Here's our so all we've got, look at all the nerves that are happening, the splanchnic, I can never say this, splanchnic nerve, all these different nerves that are happening right here after the aorta comes through, excuse me, comes through this respiratory diaphragm. We have a lot of this, and we also have, you know, the plexus ganglion, we have the nerve that's here, so there's a ton of stuff happening just as we go through there, okay? Just as we're coming through this, this level. Okay, so here's the thing. So there's fascia. So the kidneys are renal. Okay, that's the renal. So renal fascia is the fascia around the kidneys. Okay? Oh, you know, one thing I didn't do, I apologize, is that I should say that also in this, my mind is only sitting at the kidneys. Right here, is the ureter coming down on either side. Coming off of the hilum, out of the hilum, we have the ureter, which we've got an even better picture of it tracking down. We have the ureter coming off the kidney and tracking down, and look at how it tracks in front of psoas. You can see this. It's tracking in front of psoas, and down here the ureter is definitely in the gutter. Remember we did the gutter last time? You guys remember the gutter? Yes?
Between the small and
Yes.
large intestines? Yes.
Between the small and large intestine, the fascial, between the fascia, and so you're gonna get to, because we're gonna release this part of the ureter, we're gonna release this part of the ureter, and you're gonna get to it by going into the gutter. It comes down here and attaches, the ureter attaches on the posterior side of the bladder, but we'll see closer up pictures of that when we get to the bladder.
And what is the function of the ureter?
The urine goes from the kidney down the ureter and into the bladder. Okay? Great.
Could you show again where we're going, okay, so when we're going into the gutter, the portion right here that you're right there.
Right through here, right through, so the hip would be right here, the ilium would be here, and you're gonna go right just medial to that and go into the gutter to get to the ureter. Okay, sure, absolutely. All right. So, this is your vertebrae. It's showing vertebrae. Orange are the psoas. That's an interesting little psoas there. Okay? And then what we have is we have the inferior vena cava. We have the aorta over here, going here. So it's, because the inferior vena cava is on the right. So this is backwards.
That's backwards.
That's
That's
backwards.
interesting.
This is backward. I've never seen this picture before. We haven't had this picture before. So this is backwards. Here's the
Added it
vertebrae.
last time.
This is on the right. This is coming a little more on the left.
How are
Okay?
we looking at it? Inferior?
From a superior. Well, oh, that's a good question. I figured we were looking superior down,
Maybe.
but maybe
kinda
we're
looks like-
inferior up.
I mean, it kinda looks like we're looking at a butt.
I know, right?
Down here, down here.
That's your back.
This is not butt level. This is
No, I
definitely
know
not butt
that.
level.
That's
Yeah.
why I was thinking maybe we were looking up.
Yeah, no, yeah, good, okay.
Columns on the right, kind of,
The descending colons on the right, so we are looking, so interesting. I don't know. We added this last time, like somebody aftered this and
Yeah,
we said put it in. But
yes, we're looking up, because the ascending colon is
Yeah,
on the right.
we're looking
This is
up.
on the right. Okay, now that we've established
I know,
we're looking
but-
from down to up, and we'll remember this in the future, I'm sure we will, actually, thank the two of us. Okay, so we have renal fascia that's around the kidney itself, and then we have a renal fascia that actually goes around both kidneys. And when I learned this early on, I learned that there was a ligament between the kidneys across here. But I really think I've changed my mind to say that it is this fascia that they're talking about, is the fascia that goes around all of it. And that I saw a picture, I don't know if we put it in, I saw a picture that really laid out the renal fascia around both kidneys, okay? Let me see. Nope, that would not be it. Okay. No, okay. Okay. Perinephric space. So within the fascia, obviously they're showing that there's space. I don't think there's space like that.
That's right.
Not
No.
at all. Not at all. It's not floating in a space like that. It's definitely not. So, all right. Now, what we want to do is, here's our psoas back here. Here's the psoas back here. So, one of the things that happens is, it's hard when you're talking about organs to say, I'm going to talk structurally and then I'm going to talk functionally. It's hard to sort of separate the two out. So, anyway, we're not exactly going to 100%. We're going to switch back and forth between. One of the deals is that, and I say this in every one of the classes, is that There is I was reading a book, I've got a couple of his books, but they're by a renal doctor who's out of Toronto, out of Canada. And he was the one who really brought fasting to really brought it up and out to the public. He's one of the first guys that really talked about fasting and the benefits of fasting. So he's one of the very pioneers of bringing it out. Okay, there's probably people been fasting forever, and like our ancestors, you know, they were fasting all the time. Okay, but he says very early in his book, he says that he believes that almost every one of us actually have a low-grade chronic dehydration by the time you get out of puberty. You know, by the time you get out of puberty. So you are already looking at having issues, kidney issues. Now, the whole, if I say it again, is that the organ system's nervous system is the enteric nervous system. And the enteric nervous system does not directly vector into central nervous system. So it doesn't have a direct connection. I always say it's piggybacking. Because what would happen if I felt everything that was happening in my organs all the time? I'd be like, well, you know, that we would not be able to like have a separate mind and thought process going. So we're designed so that we don't know, you know, what's you know, all that's happening. So therefore, by the time I feel something in an organ, it's been going on so long, you know, it's been going on a very, very, very long time. But where do the symptoms show up? Soft tissue. That's where the symptoms show up. The symptoms show up definitely in soft tissue and in structural posture. Okay? As we said before, you know, one of the big in your last class is exactly, Sharon, is that when the mesentery is got stuff going on with it, whether you know it or not, it's pulling you forward all the time. Okay? So, you know, you can release somebody's mesentery, they get up and they go, wow, I can really stand up straight. So that's just another one of the many symptoms. So here's the deal. We have stuff going on in the kidneys, and the kidneys are classic for having stuff go on in them. Kidney and liver, very big time, that you don't know about except for from the symptoms that are now building. Okay? So what are the symptoms we get? Am I ready for that out of kidneys? Am I ready for that? For what symptoms? I might be. All right. Okay. So kidneys are number one on the hit parade for low back pain. They are numero uno for low back pain.
Didn't you said something around like 85% of?
So Burrell's number, Dr. Burrell, who brought out visceral manipulation, and is that he says his statistic is 65 to 90% of pain in the body and pain in the soft tissue is coming from organs. 65 to 90. I don't know that you guys get on Facebook, I don't know, but I will say that, you know, not that, probably 3-4 months ago I wrote, what are the two things why you can't get somebody's body to change when you're working on them, is that there's something going on viscerally, organ-wise, or something going on autonomic nervous system-wise. It's one of those two. And this is huge. So now what should happen is every time you have somebody come into your room who's got some kind of symptom, you're looking at the organ that would create that symptom. That's your first order of business. Your first order of business is not to go and let the shoulders go. The first order of business is to find out, is it heart? Is it lungs? Is it central chain, something on the central chain? You're looking that way. Okay? You are definitely looking that way. So, low back pain, kidneys, number one. Okay? Okay. And don't forget that the psoas comes down and also merges into the adductors. So, and if I have, and my kidney is living on the psoas, and these nerve root exits, we don't have a picture, but God, Gil Hudley had that great picture, unbelievably great picture. Anatomy picture was an anatomy picture of how the nerve roots go through the psoas. Oh my God, it's beautiful, so that you really realize that there's 2 layers to psoas, and the way the nerve roots exit through it. It's like, it was beautiful. So I have my kidney sitting on here. I could start to get, pain, nerve pain going into my thigh, going around my hip. All of the things that people are saying coming through here and into here and around here, you're definitely looking at the kidney. That's your first stop. You're definitely going to be feeling that kidney, okay? So, when the kidney tightens up psoas, which comes through here, and although psoas attaches here, if you look on your fascial, if we look on the fascial chain here, you can see that the psoas and all that fascia goes right into the inner leg, on the medial aspect of the leg, okay? So you're looking, so one of the things you're doing is that you're thinking about the fact that this is where am I gonna feel the pain? On my inner side of my knee. So I'm gonna feel, that's a possibility. It's another possibility of where my pain pattern goes, is in my inner knee. I could have ghost pain, so this do we have a quad picture? Okay, we have a psoas picture, okay. So you can have, so what I can have here is that from these nerves that are going, the obturator nerve, the femoral nerve, they're coming in. I can have ghost nerve pain in the front. They call it anterior sciatica, which is really such a bad name because has nothing to do with your sciatic nerve. That's all going down the back, okay? So you can have this anterior nerve pain in the thigh, in the quad, coming from the kidney, like creating tension in the psoas, which is going to entrap that nerve going into that thigh. Okay? So it entraps that nerve going into that thigh, either side. Doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay? Okay. Ooh, look at there. Boy, that's awesome.